Ever wondered why that seemingly perfect relationship suddenly turned sour? In the world we live in, relationships are often painted in hues of love and companionship. A romanticized picture of two people in a harmonious bond is what we usually envision. But like the flip side of a coin, there's another side to relationships that often goes unnoticed. That's right, we're talking about toxic relationships. Toxic relationships are like the wolf in sheep's clothing. They start off as seemingly normal, even perfect. You're in love, you're happy, and everything seems to be going just right. But slowly and steadily, the mask begins to slip. The once charming prince or princess suddenly doesn't seem so charming anymore. The love that once made you feel on top of the world now feels like a weight dragging you down. This is when a relationship turns toxic. So, what exactly is a toxic relationship? Well, it's a relationship that instead of adding value to your life, drains you. It leaves you feeling stressed, unhappy and unsatisfied. It's a relationship where respect, trust and mutual understanding are replaced by resentment, insecurity and manipulation. The worst part, most people don't even realize they're in a toxic relationship until it's too late. Understanding the signs of a toxic relationship is crucial, because just like a poison, toxicity can slowly seep into your life, affecting not just your emotional well-being, but also your physical and mental health. The earlier you identify these signs, the easier it is to protect yourself from the destructive effects of a toxic relationship. So, how does one identify these red flags? Let's dive deeper. Imagine this, your partner constantly questioning your friendships, your outings, your likes on social media. Familiar? We're diving into the murky waters of jealousy, a trait that can easily transform love into a toxic trap. Jealousy, in its basic form, is a natural emotion. It's a sign of affection, a fear of losing someone dear to you. But when it becomes excessive, it morphs into a controlling monster. It starts with questioning your actions, then it escalates into possessiveness, dictating who you can be friends with, where you can go, what you can do. It's like living with a constant surveillance camera, isn't it? But there's a stark difference between normal jealousy and toxic jealousy. Normal jealousy sparks conversations, it seeks reassurances. Toxic jealousy, on the other hand, demands control. It doesn't seek understanding, it seeks obedience. So, if you find yourself walking on eggshells, constantly trying to placate your partner's insecurities, take a step back. Analyze, reflect. Remember, love should never feel like a prison. An ego is like an invisible wall. It keeps you from truly connecting with your partner. This unseen barricade can be a silent relationship killer, often undermining the very foundation of love and trust. Imagine it as a barrier that hinders open communication, a blockage that prevents us from understanding the other's point of view. The ego can manifest in various forms. An unwillingness to admit mistakes, an incessant need to win arguments, or even a refusal to compromise. These behaviors can slowly poison the relationship, turning what was once a loving partnership into a battleground of resentment and frustration. Consider this: you're in a disagreement with your partner. Instead of trying to understand their perspective, the ego steps in, urging you to prove your point at all costs. This ego-driven need to win can lead to misunderstandings, creating an emotional chasm between you and your partner. Remember, in a relationship, it's not about who's right or wrong, it's about understanding, respect and love. When we let go of our egos, we open the door to a deeper, more meaningful connection. However, if we let our egos dictate our actions, we risk pushing love out of the door. When ego steps in, love steps out. In a relationship, honesty isn't just the best policy, it's the only policy. Imagine a spider weaving its web, each thread representing a lie. Every deception adds another layer to the web, creating a complex structure of untruths. This web of deceit can trap even the most vigilant of hearts, ensnaring them in a cycle of mistrust and betrayal. Dishonesty can be as subtle as a withheld truth or as blatant as a fabricated tale. It can sneak into a relationship like a thief in the night, robbing it of its joy and security. The effect is corrosive, slowly eating away at the foundation of trust and mutual respect, until all that's left is a hollow shell of what once was. A toxic relationship thrives on deceit. It feeds off the uncertainty and insecurity that lies breed. It's a destructive force that can turn love into resentment, intimacy into alienation. In the end, the web of deceit isn't just a trap for the victim, but also for the perpetrator. For every lie told, a piece of their authenticity fades away, replaced by the false persona they've created. Trust, once lost, is hard to regain. Respect is the cornerstone of any relationship, but what happens when that cornerstone crumbles? We've all heard the saying, treat others how you want to be treated. It's a principle as old as time, but it's surprising how often it's overlooked in relationships. Disrespect can present itself in various forms, and it's not always as blatant as a raised voice or a harsh word. Consider the subtle forms of disrespect: the dismissive wave of a hand, the rolling of eyes, or the constant interruption when you're trying to speak. These actions might seem small in isolation, but they're like tiny drops of water that can erode the strongest of rocks over time. And then there are the more glaring forms of disrespect: public humiliation, name-calling, or belittling someone's achievements. These are not just signs of disrespect, they're indicators of emotional abuse. The line between the two can often be blurred, but it's crucial to recognize them for what they are. In a relationship, disrespect can lead to feelings of worthlessness and resentment. It can create a toxic environment where love is overshadowed by constant belittlement and disregard. This is not a healthy space for growth, for both individuals and the relationship itself. Remember, respect is not just about treating your partner well, it's about acknowledging their feelings, their opinions, and their experiences as valid and important. It's about creating a space where both of you can express yourselves freely, without fear of judgment or ridicule. So what happens when respect disappears from a relationship? The bond weakens, trust diminishes, and love takes a back seat. The relationship turns into a battleground where every conversation is a potential war, and harmony becomes a distant dream. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. Recognizing disrespect is the first step towards addressing it. It's about opening a dialogue, setting boundaries, and most importantly, demanding the respect you deserve. Because at the end of the day, a relationship without respect is a relationship heading towards a dead end. Love without respect is love in disguise. So, you've identified the signs. What next? Now that you've unmasked the toxic traits in your relationship, it's time to navigate the aftermath. The first step is acknowledgement. It's crucial to understand that these toxic patterns aren't reflections of your worth. These patterns are the shadows of another's insecurities and fears projected onto you. They are not your burden to carry. Next comes the decision. Do you want to work on the relationship or step away? This is a deeply personal choice, and there's no right or wrong answer. It requires introspection, courage, and above all, honesty with oneself. If you choose to work on it, communication is key. It's about expressing your feelings, your hurt, and your expectations. But remember, change is a two-way street. It requires effort and commitment from both sides. If you choose to step away, know that it's okay. Prioritizing your mental and emotional well-being is not selfish, it's necessary. It might seem frightening initially, the thought of starting anew, but remember, every end is a new beginning. Whether you choose to stay or leave, self-care is pivotal. Rekindle your passions, the things that make you, you. Surround yourself with positivity. Spend time with loved ones, those who uplift you and make you feel cherished. And lastly, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Therapists and counselors can provide guidance, tools and strategies to navigate this challenging time. They can help you rebuild your self-esteem and regain your sense of identity. Share your experiences. Your story could be a beacon for someone else navigating through the fog of a toxic relationship. It could provide them the strength to unmask their own toxic patterns. Remember, you are not alone. Seek help, speak up, and most importantly, love yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're your own best friend, your own strongest ally.